3, 2, 1, go!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Felons Ain't Failures 42 Podcast. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, Big Bro Los. But look here. I got a special guest in the studio today. As y'all can see, it's just me and him. We're going to break off a little special episode today. This is my cousin, Derek Cooper, standing next to me.
Yes.
We got a hot topic that we need to discuss that needs to get out to the public.
Yes.
Big Coop, introduce yourself, man.
Bro.
Love
So
you,
good
man.
to be here. So
Okay.
good to be here.
Tell me
Yes.
something.
My name is Derek Cooper. This is my cousin, Carlos Price, a.k.a. Big Bro Los.
That's right.
They call me Big Coop because I've been big all my life. So me and him met, we were 10 years old, and we've been best friends ever since. The best man at my wedding. We played football together. I played middle linebacker. He played outside linebacker. Number one defense in the county at the
That's right.
time.
Y'all know how we relate a lot of
St.
stuff to football on the
St.
podcast.
Pete Towns
so.
called us the best linebackers in the county, and we were.
Yes, we were.
So we have a long history together.
Yeah, we do.
And he asked me to come and do a podcast, and I said, I know just the topic I'm going to do. We're going to speak on Black men and our mental health, and not just mental health.
Go ahead, Coop. Yeah.
Our overall physical health. So
Overall
mental,
physical health.
physical, spiritual.
Because Coop got a testimony, man, and he gonna get into it. He gonna let y'all know what's going on and what he has done to better himself mentally, physically, spiritually, So before we get started, I just want everybody to know that this man has always impressed me with his mindset, And I'm talking from just when, like, even in middle school, Coop, at Madeira Beach, he was, you could always tell how smart he was. Now, of course, we was young, and I ain't never know where he was going with it, but I saw it elevate. I saw it get bigger. I saw him get smarter. I learned things from him. I watched him.
Vice versa.
I wish I would have emulated him more and kind of got a little stronger as far as I was education. But to see him evolve,
Praise God.
Then he got out of school. He went to college, and continued to build himself, So I've always been impressed with that. And every time I talk about it, even when he ain't around, I'm telling you, the brother's so smart, it's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, it's you worked in it. I know your moms put that on you when it was kids, on all y'all. Big family.
Yeah.
Big
yeah,
family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big family.
Yeah.
So I watched you on Facebook. I see you walking. You post your posts.
Yeah.
And I seen your transformation.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
You've seen it ever
I've
since.
seen it. I've seen
all
it.
of our lives.
Yeah, all our lives.
Yeah.
I know when you was 400 maybe?
424.
424.
424 pounds.
424.
Yes.
And Coop, I'm pretty sure as smart as you are and as much as the education that you have, I know we're gonna get into some things where how maybe that may have affected you mentally.
Oh my God, yeah.
So look here, let's break it off. Let's get to it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about Black man's health. Our mental health, our physical health, some of the things that may have contributed to the decline of it.
Yeah.
And how we gonna fix it.
That's right.
And get it better.
That's right. Lois, I'm humble over here. I don't want to cry on camera.
That's all right. We do it all the time.
I don't want to cry on camera,
Yes,
but
sir.
it means a lot because you've always been my big brother.
That's right.
You've always looked out for me. I've always looked to you for protection, for guidance, street cred, all of that. Your parents took me in as one of their sons.
Absolutely.
You helped acclimate me to certain things growing up. So I've always looked at you as the one who helped raise me out in the streets.
Appreciate that.
So
That's what family do.
Absolutely.
That's what family do.
So I appreciate that. I really do. So as Lo said, my story starts. Let's just start with when I was 424 pounds. Right now I'm around 315, and so I lost a total of 136 pounds at one point. But the mental aspect that had to go into that, and then taking that and extrapolating that over Black men.
Right.
What I realized on this journey is, as Black men, our health, mentally, spiritually, physically, is so important as it relates to our cultural, our society, our families. And there was a lack of understanding our health. Right?
Me and you talked about that last night, Coop.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about when we was growing up, those are terms, for whatever reason, just wasn't discussed
Never
in our household. We didn't discuss mental health.
No.
We didn't discuss healthy eating.
No.
Because we thought we was eating healthy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bologna and cheese
it was
sandwiches.
what our parents ate.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and like I said last night, I am no way, shape, or form downing our black people food.
Yeah.
You know, but we ate soul food on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Or whatever we could, man.
Whatever we
I mean,
could.
you know,
our
because when
parents
you
did the
start
best they
talking
could.
about healthy food, that is expensive.
Absolutely.
You know, so there are a lot of things that tie into
a lot of things, a lot of
that tie
aspects.
into it. A lot of aspects.
And I learned all those aspects. And to your point, and I had to go on this journey, this mental health journey, to get my physical health right. I had to realize, what is it about me that makes me anxious to speak on mental health?
Okay.
As I was discovering that I need some mental health correction.
All right.
And I did a
Which-
lot of,
All of us.
yes,
Yeah.
I did a lot of
Yeah.
probing. And what I discovered, the self-discovery, was the black men that raised us.
Right.
Your dad, my dad, our coaches. You know, we share a lot of the same mentors in our life because we came up together.
Right.
A lot of these men came through Jim Crow,
Okay.
a time
All right.
where you couldn't express yourself too much because an overly aggressive black man was killed.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple.
We know that. Everybody knows that.
Let's just call it what it was.
That was the
If you-
term.
If you're overly aggressive as a black man,
Yeah.
it just eradicated you.
Right.
So black men learned how to be quiet and progressive.
It was almost like we had to stay in our place.
Stay in our place. Exactly.
The place that they wanted us to
That's
be.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that place had its effects on our family because we would outlet that anger or that imbalance onto our families
right.
and pass that trauma down.
Okay.
So these men that raised us, God bless them, they're wonderful men.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they came through a time where you couldn't express yourself.
Right.
So all they knew was no self-expression.
Okay.
So when they coached us, when they taught us, when they raised us, if we started crying, no, what you doing?
Zero tolerance
up.
for tears.
Exactly.
Zero tolerance.
Exactly. So it was almost an embarrassment to show, you know, or express, you know, how we're feeling.
You could have been cast out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, cast out.
Exactly. So, you know, we make those jokes. We say, hey, you know, back in the day, we would have said, Mom, I'm depressed. You better depress them dishes.
Right. Right.
That's all the depression she knew.
Right.
You know, we make that joke as black people because it's funny.
Right.
It's true, but our parents did not know how to handle if I said I'm depressed. Number one, I didn't even know how to say that.
Right.
You know. So yeah. So this self-discovery made me understand that overarching, we have to address black men's health. And the reason why is because the toxicity that's passed through generations. If you don't fix it, your family gets the brunt of it. And if they don't fix it, their family gets the brunt of it. So you have toxicity or poison being passed down generationally. Now,
boom. That's it. That's how I was about to yeah, generationally.
The church has helped this, you know, but it's okay to receive, like the Bible says, that godly counsel is okay. You know, so the church has help, but we need other avenues to pitch in as well. You know, so what we can do, back to your point, is as black men, speak about it.
Right.
Unashamedly. Speak about mental health, physical health, spiritual health. I got some stats I want to run down.
Come on, that's what we like. I'm usually the stat man. Y'all
Yeah.
know that, but Big Coop got on today.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you got for me, Big Man?
Yeah. So mental health impacts every area of life, relationships, career, success, physical well-being, overall quality of life.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yes, sir.
This stigma leads to unrelated conditions, depression, anxiety, and these PTSD, and other mental illnesses that go undiagnosed. That is the key. That's the key. Now, we have all these undiagnosed conditions, and the way society fixes it, it just puts us in jail. It put us in jail. Nothing's been addressed to our mental stability from that point.
Can we say they're being undiagnosed because we don't go get checked? We don't.
Well, you don't know what you don't know. Right?
Okay.
So you
I
got to
like
have
that.
a point
I
of
like that.
reference. You got to
I
have
like
a point
that.
of reference. You know, no one told us to get checked. How do I know to get checked if I'm having an episode? If your point of reference is never been unchecked. Your granddaddy didn't check it. Your crazy uncle didn't check it.
Because my daddy didn't go to the doctor.
Exactly. And that comes from the distrust.
Right.
We'll talk about that later. But here's a stat right here. Suicide rates among black men. Now, we were coming up, we never knew anybody that killed themselves.
It wasn't around us.
It wasn't part of the vernacular. It wasn't part of our, and one of my frat brothers told me, he said, suicide is contagious. I said, what? He said, yes. People try it once, and then somebody else will try it, and then they'll get the idea, well, let this be my way out. Now watch this. Suicide rates in black men is the third leading cause of death for black males ages 15 to 24.
I seen it. Did it. Yes, sir.
That is amazing.
That is crazy.
That is amazing.
know?
That stat blew me away. The third leading cause among black males. Here's another one.
Okay.
Here's another one. The underutilization of healthcare, right? Only 33% of black men who need mental health care receive it. Black men are less likely to visit doctors regularly compared to other groups. Heart disease. Now, we all know about stress-related illnesses.
Right.
We all understand that, right? We all understand
Yes,
that,
sir. Yes, sir.
that our thoughts can produce stress.
Right.
That's why in a horror movie, when a scene's about to happen, you tense up.
Yep.
Because you know something about to happen, so you tense up. So watch this. Heart disease. Black men are 30% more likely to die from heart disease than any other race. Diabetes. Sugar.
Runs
The sugar.
rampant.
We call it the sugar. The sugar.
In the hood.
Yeah. Black men are twice as likely to be diagnosed with diabetes compared to non-Hispanic whites. High blood pressure. Nearly 60% of black men over the age of 40 suffer from high blood pressure. Now watch this. On average, black men live 4.5 years less than anybody else.
Yep. I saw that. I read that.
On average.
And guys, listen. I'm a part of what he just said.
Yeah.
I'm diabetic right now. I'm more borderline diabetic, but I was heavy into it at one time, and that was just me being careless, Big Coop, with my lifestyle.
But again, you didn't know what you didn't know.
I didn't know, but I knew I could have been better at some of the things I did. But y'all know how we do.
Yeah.
We always feel like it ain't gonna happen to me.
That's right.
High blood pressure too. I had to take medication for that.
Really?
So when we fall into that category, Big Coop, I mean, obviously diagnosis is key. You know what I'm saying? But for those of you that have found that this is where you are, you have to be diligent into getting yourself away from that way of living.
That's right. Has
and
to be habit forming.
If you got medicine, take your medicine.
Take your medicine. We're not doctors.
I know. No, we're not doctors. We're not doctors.
We're not doctors.
No, we are not.
So take your medication.
Take your medicine.
Absolutely.
And I found something interesting, Big Coop. When I was after I got off the phone with you last night and I was doing some research, I just thought about something. I mean, God praise all doctors. But I'm wondering if Caucasian doctors, how deep and what is their depth of our history?
Great point.
How for us to get better? I mean, are they basing it on just all men?
They are.
They can't do that with black men.
They can't.
Right.
And
I'm not saying that they are, but it's just a question that came to me. What you think?
No, absolutely. So you can look online to see when they interview medical students when they're in a medical school. They ask them questions. What do you think about blacks as a race? Overall, we're thought of as we can take more pain, right? Our skin is thicker.
Right.
And we're just more durable as a people. So we're not treated as carefully because the thought process, even though it's subconsciously, is they'll be okay. They'll be okay. And we're dealt with in a way that's not as careful as other races.
Right.
So, and nurses can tell you, my sister's a nurse, that when
Shout
babies
out to Melissa. Shout out to
my sister Melissa, yes, Melissa Rowland, Cooper Rowland.
Yep.
that when babies are born, all nurses know that black girl babies are the toughest.
Okay.
They can handle the most trauma of being born.
Okay.
Right? Then black boy babies. Then white girl babies. Then white boy babies.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So they treat black babies
Note taking.
a little less careful because we're more resilient. Now, the byproduct of that is we don't get as much care medically when we're being looked at because it's assumed, oh, they'll be okay. They'll be okay. Yeah. So the medical profession themselves look at us as, resilient and, self-healing, if you will.
Right.
But we're suffering in silence, So to your point, that is the case. That is the case.
Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to be better.
Yeah.
What do we need to do?
Well, first of all, it's taboo. We still think it's taboo for black men.
Oh, urban legend, cool. Urban legends and stigma.
It's the stigma is incredible. As I was going through this journey, as I was losing this weight, it was still tough for me to speak on what I was going through. I'm talking about, and my wife can tell you, shout out to my wife, Kamara Cooper. My wife can tell you is the reason I started losing this weight, 2 reasons. One, about 30 of my college teammates and high school teammates have passed away.
I remember you always call me,
Yeah.
real quick. Love the man, but we had got to a point with us losing so many of our people.
Yeah.
Our friends, our family.
Good friends.
It ended up, we were only calling each other to tell the other person about who died. When he called me and I see Big Coop in the phone, I'm like, oh no. We would call each other the Grim Reaper. Oh, here come the Grim Reaper. Number bad news.
It was crazy.
So it was crazy.
It was crazy.
That is the number, that high number how we was losing people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Los would call me and I would just look at the phone. I'm just looking at the phone. I'm like, I know something happened. Then when I answer the phone, he said, are you sitting down? Boom.
Yeah.
Right there. So the fact that we were losing so many of our college and high school teammates to heart disease, diabetes. That was the number one, number 2.
People of color. People of color.
Our teammates.
Yep.
I went to HBCU.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
Black History Month, February 1st
Yep.
to the 28th. So all my teammates were black. So the bulk of the news, tragic news, was coming from college, my college teammates, but also high school. So I thought I was next. Now I'm 420. I thought I was next. My wife used to have to calm me down because at night when I was sleeping, I would be screaming like I'm going to die.
Wow.
Right? That's mental.
That's that mental part.
That's
of
that
it.
mental
That's
part.
that mental part.
I was getting these attacks as if I'm going to die.
That's
I
that
was
mental
waiting to
part
die.
of being unhealthy.
Exactly. So she would have to calm me down and hold me and wake me up because I'm thinking I'm dying. So every night when I went to bed, this is the night. I'm dying tonight.
That's a tough way to live.
Tough way to live. Now, what does that do? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy because if you keep doing that, the stress could give you a heart attack. The stress could bring on other illnesses. So it's self-fulfilling, right?
Wow.
So it's taboo to speak about. It also plays into our masculinity, right? If we talk about mental health issues, we're not a man, right?
Not
or
a man.
We're less of a man.
You're weak.
We're weak,
soft,
emasculated,
right.
that type of thing, where we won't
that
speak
can't
about
happen
it.
to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because again, I think about my old coaches. What would they say to me? Quit crying. We would lose a game in Little League and be crying. We couldn't. Here's the sad part. I passed that on also when I was a Little League coach.
So did I.
And a high school coach.
Coop, I'm probably still a little.
I'm
unfortunately, I do that.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
I mean, I'm working on it, everybody. I'm working on it. I am.
To this day, I'm still that way. I've gotten much better. I know how to check myself now, but I still find myself,
I don't think I'm not as aggressive as I was about it, but I mean, I got a 10-year-old granddaughter who played basketball, and if she come to that side, I'm a coach right now, and if she come crying about something, I'm nope.
Yeah.
No crying. And that's unfortunately, that is what I'm a product of that environment at that time.
Now, we don't want our kids to be to the other side because now kids now are so sensitive, so ultra sensitive that they don't have the coping skills. But I think that's part of social media, keeping them in a vacuum. Because because we played outside every day, so we developed those coping skills and those social skills, or hierarchical skills of being outside. A lot of kids don't do that now, so they have no way of understanding how to bring down that sensitivity. I want to talk about this also, the distrust of institutions. So remember the Tuskegee experiments started in the 40s and ended in the 70s, where they would have syphilis. They'll pretend that they were healing us, right?
Right.
But what they were doing was watching how it affected our generations.
Yep. That's true.
Our generations.
But those of you don't know.
Go research the Tuskegee experiments.
Yep.
And so how do we trust doctors? I still have a distrust to a certain extent. Now watch this. Dr. J. Marion Sims, the father of gynecology. You know how he started?
Oh.
He would do gynecological experiments on slave women.
Wow.
So gynecology came about from these women being experimented on with no anesthesia.
Wow.
Genital experiments. No anesthesia.
That is
genital experiments, no anesthesia. Slicing and cutting into these girls.
My goodness.
And watch this. His peers would ask, well, doesn't that hurt? No, they don't hurt. Back to that stigma.
Right.
They're okay. They don't feel the pain. So over the years, that trauma has been passed down through us. We don't trust. We don't trust.
With good reason.
With good reason.
Yeah.
Institutionally, with good reason. You know. So and here's another thing. And I'm going to refer to this wonderful brand right here, Felons Ain't Failures. Now watch this. These are environmental pressures that play into our mental health.
Okay.
Here's a quick point. I drive a Jaguar.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is this. There was a time, especially when the George Floyd incident happened, that I needed a break mentally. And when I would be in my car, if a cop came behind me and drove slow, you know what they do? They're checking your license plate.
They are.
Then they speed off around you. So you can imagine the fear I felt of, they're going to pull me over, right?
Black man driving a Jag.
Black man driving a Jag. Also, the fear of, this could be my last day. Do you understand the pressures, and people don't, except us, of thinking in the morning, when you wake up in the morning, this could be my last day on earth because of some cop trigger happy, or because of my size, 6'1", 320, I get out the car and I'm already a threat, dark skin.
Right.
Just keep it 100.
Right.
Can we keep it 100 in here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know? So now this prison industrial complex has put pressure on us because when emancipation happened in 1865, after that they passed the 13th Amendment that said, you're free, but if we arrest you, you lose all your rights. Wow. And you're back in prison or you're back in slavery. Now watch this. That concept fed the prisons to what we have now today called the prison industrial complex.
Right.
So we're arrested more for the same crimes as everybody else. Why are we arrested more? Because we feed into the prison industrial complex. Now what happens when you go to prison? Free corporate labor.
Yep.
Now watch this. Felons ain't failures. A lot of those felons were put there. They were. What's the word I'm looking for? They were ramrodded.
Right.
Ramrodded. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Into going to prison. They were lied. The DA will keep some evidence. This, that, and the other. Now watch this. So now you're putting innocent people in prison, packing them in there, so you can reintroduce your slavery wage.
Okay.
Right. This is what happened.
Right.
This is what happened. So I love that this brand is letting people know, no, we're not failures. The system has failed us, but that's what it was designed to do.
But and with that, you know, and when we're talking about the health and the physical health, you know, in being incarcerated, how good is the health program?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
how good is the mental health programs in there?
The mental health. How are they educating them? You know,
exactly.
If at all.
Exactly.
You know? And then if you're not, now you're coming out and you got that mindset in you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what we obviously have to do is keep everybody abroad. You know, to the black man out there, I understand that, you know, depending on where you might be financially or, you know, where your jobs are concerned and that kind of thing there, you know, how health insurance can be an issue, you know. But
that's right.
I think with a lot of things that you're saying, Big Coop, and what you have said today is how It all ties together.
All
It
those
all
things
ties
environmentally,
It
spiritually,
all ties together.
generationally, it all ties together, and it pours into our mental health, lack thereof,
when
or lack thereof.
when you talked about when your weight was in the 400s, and how you thought you were going to die, not only that's obviously it affected your physical health, but it went to your mental health as well.
Absolutely.
And people, y'all do it every day.
Yeah.
It's people who, for some reason, get stuck in that rut right there that this is as good as it gonna get.
That's right.
Good it gonna.
That's right.
And you give up.
Yeah.
Give up. I mean, you give up to a certain extent where you're not getting any stronger, you're not getting any better, you're not taking the first step.
That's correct.
To being a healthier you.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, whatever it is.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct.
I wrote something down here,
Yeah, go ahead.
about obviously say no to the urban legends, just kick that to the ground. We don't get stuck in the stigmas. Don't get your own thought process of what you need to do for you. Stop worrying about what everybody else tell you and that kind of thing. Find the right primary care physician.
Yes.
Find it, because like you said, there's a distrust.
There's a distrust.
But you got to find somebody, because you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor.
No,
I can't
not at all.
take care of I could take care of myself to a certain extent, but I need to know where I'm at physically.
Yeah.
Mentally as well, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wrote, do your research. Do your research. We all on the phones all the time, looking at this, looking at that. Research. I put in Black Men's Health yesterday.
Yeah.
All kind of stuff came up.
That's correct.
All kind of stuff came
That's
up.
correct. That's correct.
And you got to want to live. You got to want to survive.
A better quality of life.
You got to want to survive.
That's correct.
You got to want the quality of life.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's things we can do, right? First of all, as Black men, what we're doing right now is the most important
Talking
thing.
about it.
Talking about it. Now, here's something else.
And it's okay to talk about it.
It's okay to talk about it. Spiritually speaking, you have to get grounded in the Lord.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Yep.
Now, as Black folks, I understand, we have different, avenues now that are afforded to us as far as our spiritual walk. But find yourself a good church that can help support a men's group. Right. That's one aspect or one spoke in the wheel. Right. The other spoke is what you said. If you have health insurance, go to your health insurance and figure out how you can use that to get a good primary care physician and or therapy. Right. It's okay. Trust me, it's okay. When I went to therapy, man, I felt horrible because I'm like, I'm a loser. I'm in therapy. Never thought I would be here. That's for weak people. That's for depressed people. I'm not depressed. Yes, I was.
For you followers of our podcast, y'all hear, and this stuff we done talked about. Lopez, you about to, we've talked about therapy. I've been to therapy, big man, and I was in a different place.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I almost had like a I don't care attitude. I don't care about nothing. I don't care about nobody. I had got a divorce, and I'm just like, I don't even care. I'm going to do what I want to do, wrong or right.
That's right. That's right.
But I was so unbalanced.
Oh,
I was so unbalanced. And nothing was working, So I was like, I need to go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I need to go talk to somebody. I need therapy. And I'm gonna go do it. And when I went and did it, and people, you'd be surprised. At least with me,
so much better.
A lot of times it's not necessarily that you're gonna go into this therapist's office and they're gonna tell you everything that's right. You'll be surprised or tell you everything that you need to do because of your situation. You will be surprised after all the talking that you're doing. You answer a lot of questions yourself.
A lot of questions.
Yourself.
It's self-discovery.
But because you don't do it when you're at home or you haven't found that comfort zone, whatever, it never happens outside of therapy. But once you get in therapy, you're talking to somebody who's not biased.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's
I mean,
right.
who ain't finna tell you what you want to hear.
That's right.
Just because they like you.
That's
you know
correct.
What I'm saying?
That's correct. So in my research, I found that I needed a therapist who knew my struggles as culturally. So I went to a Black woman therapist, right? I went to a white woman therapist as well, and the benefit of that was she came with no preconceived notions. She was a blank slate.
Right.
So I educated her on some things, and she was at the edge of her seat. Wow, didn't know this type of thing existed. She went and researched it, and then now she's into everything that I'm saying.
Okay.
So, yes, I would say find a Black therapist, but also it's okay to find any other therapist who understands you and your being and your soul.
Have to find one that you're comfortable with.
Got to
You know
be.
what I'm saying?
Got to be comfortable with. All right, quickly, because our time is coming up. So, in addition to your spiritual, in addition to finding a good medical
Right.
process, you also want to make sure that you start getting healthy physically. They all coincide.
Yes,
They all coincide.
Yes, it
So what I started doing when my friends were dying, what finally happened was my roommate, Michael Johnson, shout out to Mike, God bless him, he's with the Lord now. He passed away from diabetes.
Right.
And then when I went to the funeral, I was beside myself because it let me know it's getting closer.
Right.
It's getting closer. So what I started doing was I said, you know what? I'm a former athlete. I know that I need to move. I understand moving. I understand weightlifting. I understand all of that, So my brother-in-law, shout out to Gary Rowland, we call him Decky.
Decky. Shout out to Deck.
Shout out to Deck.
Yes, sir.
My brother-in-law did a phrase one day, and it revolutionized my life.
What was it?
He said, can you do one thing different towards being better healthy?
Okay.
Can you do one thing? Because what we try to do is 20 things. Can you do one thing? So I'm encouraging everybody out there. Can you do one thing? Exactly.
Progress, not
Progress,
perfection.
not perfection. Exactly.
And real quick, we getting ready to shut this down. I mean, it was
Yeah.
very educational. Coop, I appreciate you being here. We're going to get you on a lot more times. But me and you talked last night.
Yeah.
And you told me about a gentleman
Yeah.
that you've been working with.
Yes.
Tell the people about it.
Yes. So as I was coming down, I put my story on Facebook every day. People
Yep,
knew I was
it's
walking
there.
every day, walking. 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50
Coop
pounds,
Anthony?
80
That's what it
pounds.
is?
Coop
Coop
Anthony.
Coop
Yes.
Anthony
Coop
on
Coop
Facebook.
Anthony on Facebook. And then people started asking, hey, what you doing? Now, my boys was asking me through my DM.
Oh.
That's what we do because we don't want anybody to know that we feeling a certain type of way. And that's
Okay.
okay. I did the
That's
same
all right.
thing.
But they asked.
They asked.
They
And
asked.
that was the main thing.
Yeah. That was the first step.
So I told him, I said, here's what you do. Can you do one thing different? Can you just take, instead of doing 2 pounds of beef, can you do 1 pound? Very small, minimal change, but a success at that. Instead of drinking no water, can you drink half a gallon a day, right? Can you walk 10 minutes? Okay, now can you walk 15? So just do one thing and celebrate that one thing that you do effectively.
That's a victory.
And then
That's a
add to it one
Small
more thing.
me at
Small
me and Bay, but
victories are the
yeah.
key. So I came across this gentleman who I was asked to help him. He's well over 500 pounds at the time. And I applied my techniques of mental, physical, spiritual. And the one thing I talked about is I was relatable,
Okay.
right? Because when you're that heavy, when you're in the 400s, you have to watch yourself, how you react to the world. When you sit in chairs, when you go to the bathroom, when you go on restaurants, when you go on planes.
So y'all shared a lot of the same thoughts and traits.
Exactly.
As
Exactly.
a large man.
Exactly.
Large black man.
Exactly. So, when I used to go on planes at 400 pounds, I needed an extra seatbelt, right? And it's tight. It's still tight now at 320. But the seatbelt, I can use one now. Small victory, right?
Victory. But a victory.
But a victory
But
at
a
that, So I would relate to him and say, I know how you feel. You feel like you're going to die physically and you're waiting to die every day mentally. He said, you're right. You're right. I know how you feel when you walk into a restaurant. You don't want to be seen. See, very large men, because women talk about it, they're great at talking about it.
Yeah.
We are not great at talking about
Right.
it. So we just want to shrink. But it's hard to shrink at 6'1", 320. Hard to shrink at 6'1", 420. It's hard to shrink. I mean, you're going to see me,
Yeah.
right? But I don't want you to notice me. So now I have to negotiate the chairs in the restaurant. And I got to negotiate, how I fit into a space in an elevator.
So what'd you do with him?
So what I did was I let him know that I know what he's going through. He didn't have to tell me. I told him, right? And then what happened was I introduced the one thing. Let's just do one thing. So we would walk from his door to the stop sign back to his house. He was winded. We celebrated. That's the one thing, right? Then we introduced a food plan. listen, don't try to attack the food plan all at one time.
Yeah.
Just do one thing. Cut back on this, cut back on that.
Don't clean your refrigerator out and just put in salads.
Not just yet.
Yeah,
not just yet, because you're going to fail. But when you get to 420, 400, 450, 500, you've gone through a lot of failures to get there, right? So he's enacted these principles. He's down over 100 pounds.
I don't know which button the applause button, but I would hit that right now.
When we walked the last time, we walked a half a mile at his discretion. Like, no, let's keep going. Yes, let's keep going.
He said that.
He said,
He
let's
said
keep
that.
going. So I'm almost in tears.
Job well done.
So he told me, he said, listen, what you instilled in me, I said, no, that's the Lord now. I'm a blessing to be a blessing.
The vessel.
What you instilled in me, I use these principles, and I thank you for saving my life. So I'm like, whoa. So this thing was bigger than me. So I started a movement, and I'm going to give my phone number right now, 727-688-6330. I do one-on-one coaching for very large Black men, right? Because I know what they've gone through to get that way, and I can help them not be that way, right?
All right.
And it's a 100% success rate, because if I get you just to lose 20 pounds, that's a victory. That's a 100% success rate. But it's the mental aspect that we help heal you with that gets you down. It's called Black Kings Thrive.
So for all y'all out there, Black men, Black women, people in general, but we really talking to our Black men.
It's imperative.
It's imperative for us to get healthy.
Yes.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Just like Big Cool said, if you go empty your refrigerator and put lettuce in there, you're gonna fail.
You're gonna fail.
And then that affects you here.
Yeah.
You eliminate. I wrote it right now here.
Yeah.
You eliminating your effort to be a better you.
That's right.
Okay, so take your time. We gonna get Big Coop back on here. Boy, I love everything you said today, bro. You had me fired up last night. I was on the phone.
I'm ready to go right now.
We appreciate you. You
Yes,
know
sir.
what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I sure appreciate
So-
this. What a great forum.
Look here, Felons Ain't Failures 42 podcast. Coop Anthony on
sir.
Facebook. Y'all heard the number. Y'all heard his phone number. Coop Anthony on Facebook.
727-688-6330. DM me, and I can help you mentally, physically, spiritually.
We're gonna get him back in here, everybody. Peace. We'll holler at y'all later.
3, 2, 1, go!